I guess I'm just videographer and editor. That sounds fine.
All
All right. Are you just trying to get more?
Was that it?
No.
Okay. So here's the marker. One of those.
I was given for a birthday or Christmas at some point a tiny little handheld Sony camera, and I just recorded so many really dumb movies, and I severely lacked actors, and so what I did was I just dumped out my stuffed animal bin, and we would kind of like just wiggle the stuffed animals in front of the camera and do voices for them. I loved doing videos, I loved editing, and I wanted to pursue that, and I was like, oh, film doesn't seem like a viable career choice. So I went for computer science, and I entered in the Geneva College Film Festival. I was like, wow, I like this more than anything I've done in college, and I want to transfer. I reached out to the professor of a film class that I was taking, John McGeary. He was like, I'm offering an internship with someone named Christopher Padgett. So that was a Human City Creative internship, partnered with the Genesis Collective and RiverWise. Then I went away for a while because the internship ended. Then I graduated, and eventually Daniel Rossi Keene reached out to me, and he was like, hey, we're starting the East Palestine project. And I was like, that sounds great. It was enriching, learning so much, and like kind of humbling, and going into communities and talking to people and meeting new people, and I just feel like I learned a lot of things from that. It felt like doing the kind of work that McGeary set me up for, telling stories that are important and mean something, and learning things about yourself and about communities. I just have a very, very serious passion for stories. Film is like my interest and one of my passions, but it's just my favorite medium to tell stories. I wouldn't say that my core thing is film, I would say my core thing is stories. It can be very healing to experience a story that connects to something in your life. I'm someone who really gains a lot of comfort from stories. Stories are my comfort things. I have a lot of comfort shows. And it's just like, oh, I'm having a bad day for X, Y, and Z reasons, and here's the movie that kind of deals with those same things. And I watch it, and it makes me kind of feel better about the things I'm dealing with. I'm like, yes, I relate to this, and I get it. But then none of that is strong enough on its own without people as well. I'm someone who I consider myself completely lifted up and still standing because of stories and some very important people in my life. My mom, have to mention my mom. She is the biggest supporter in the universe for me, has helped me with just literally everything in life. My best friend, Evan Jerome, who I have been best friends with for 15 years. And then my girlfriend, Noor, who I talk to like literally every single day. If I'm editing and there's not audio, I'm usually talking to Noor. If I'm cleaning up a photo or making a thumbnail or a graphic, I'm usually talking to Noor. I pass along ideas to her, I talk through interviews, and I ask her questions, and she is someone who is also incredibly, incredibly similar to me, but has all of the different opinions and different perspectives and different life paths that lead to the perfect clash of, I didn't think of that, but also I totally see where you're coming from, and it just like, every single thing that I run into, it's like, I need to run it past Noor. And so, stories, the stories that I consume and appreciate and relate to are amazing, but none of that would be worth it without also having those three people that I love a lot, so. Officially, I think my duties at RiverWise are mostly editing. I'm mostly editing, doing just a lot of stuff remote. I didn't expect to like editing so much. I always thought I was gonna be like, oh, I love the actual process of filming, but I bizarrely really, really like editing. It's the time where the vision really finally comes together. Where a lot of the times with documentary, a lot of times we go out and we're like, we will figure out what the story is later. And then when you actually sit down and edit, it's exciting because you get to take every single thing that you've shot and see the payoff to everything that you've done. When I look at the projects I've done myself, there's a lot of flaws with them. And when I look at the projects I've done with other people, there's flaws, but there's less flaws. And it's just like, endlessly valuable to be able to ask, hey, what do you think of this shot? Or how do we position this light? Because if you're doing every single thing by yourself, you're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, and it's only your opinion. I think that's what I really value, is other opinions. If I compare my first draft with what the final product is, it's always better, because it went through a pass of people looking at it and saying, hey, this is good, this is not. Fix it all. I really have loved the process of editing interviews, because it wasn't something I was good at. I've always kind of been in charge, wrote the script, done the stuff, and been like, okay, I'm executing my vision, but it is a very valuable skill to learn to just tell someone else's story and condense it into a tiny little piece that keeps the heart and the soul of everything that they've said, honors them, is true to them, and have in a tiny, tiny little package someone's perspective. Telling other people's stories, I think, is what it is not just my stories and my vision, but learning to represent somebody else in the best way that I can without being biased.